Okay, the last problem that we have is talking about something called a piecewise function. Piecewise is a function that's split up into different parts. The actual function is over here on the left side. That's what you're going to plug your numbers into here, not here. These inequalities tell you what you can plug numbers in. This is x is less than or equal to -2. That means I'm only allowed to plug in numbers that are -2 or smaller than -2. So -2, -3, -4, -5, anything on a number line less than -2. Remember, to the left of -2 is not -1, it's -3, -4, all the way to -infinity if you want. But we can only plug in those numbers into here. So let's look down here for a second. Where do you see numbers that are less than or equal to -2? Well, -5 and -2 are both less than or equal to -2. So I'm only allowed to plug in these two numbers into the top function. So I'm going to evaluate x squared plus 2. I'm going to plug in -5 for x. Remember that a negative squared is always a positive. People make that mistake on the calculator a lot. They'll type this because they're lazy, and they'll say, oops, what was I doing? And that's wrong because a -5 squared is not -25. Okay? A -5 squared is +25. But why does this say -25? Your calculator does the 5 squared first, then it puts the negative on at the end. That's why. So we need to put it like this. So that's why parentheses are super important. 25 plus 2 is 27. If you really don't like it, then do this. -5, store x, enter. Then you can say x squared plus 2, 27. Okay, so -2 is also less than -2. So since -2 joins the club here, because less than or equal to means it can be equal, then I'm still going to plug it into this one, not the one down here. Okay, that one's only a greater than symbol, or less than symbol, not a less than or equal to. So I'm going to plug in -2 for x squared plus 2. And again, a negative squared is positive. So -2 squared plus 2, 4 plus 2 is 6. So now, when you look at 0, f of 0, well, 0 is not less than -2. You know, 0 is up here. -1, 0. So we got a different way to look at it here. On this inequality, I can say -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And let's see, let me go to 4 and -3, just so you can see, you know, what our boundaries are. So this one, I'm only allowed to do numbers greater than -2. I'm going to open that up because I can't include -2, but less than or equal to +3. So I can include 3, and I can include -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. I just can't include -2. All right. So that allows me to plug in numbers like 0. 3. I could plug in 1 and 2 if I wanted, but my question's not asking for it. So 0 is going to go in the middle. So I'm going to say x plus 5. 0 plus 5. We know that's 5. Hopefully you know that. And then 3. X is going to replace, 3 is going to replace x and x plus 5. So it's going to be 3 plus 5. Because 3 is between -2 and 3, including 3. So that's going to be 8. And 4, well, that doesn't fit into there, so we've got to go down here. So the last one, this is for x values that are greater than 3. So we're talking like 4, 5, 6, 500 million. It's up to you. How high you want to go, it's up to you. But any number greater than 3 not including 3 because it doesn't have an equal. So f of 4, 4 is greater than 3, 4 is going to get plugged into the bottom function. 3 times 4 plus 1. 12 plus 1 is 13. 7, 3 times 7 plus 1. 21 plus 1, 22. That's how you do these piecewise functions. It's evaluating functions just like before, but you can only plug in certain values to certain ones. Now, you know me, I like the calculator. So I'm going to show you how to type this in the calculator. You can actually use your table of values to get these numbers. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to your y equals. You're going to go to your y1, and you're going to type in x squared plus 2 in parentheses. Press divided by. I don't know why, but that's just how we have to do it. Press divided by. Over here, you're going to do parentheses, x. How do we get a less than or equal to sign? We go to second math. We can go down here. We type in -2, close it up. So x squared plus 2 in parentheses, the if or comma, whatever that is, divided by parentheses, x is less than or equal to -2. Line 2, parentheses, x plus 5, close it up, divided by. Now here's where you got to be very careful. You're going to say -2, second math. What did I do? Second math, less than x. But you have to put the word and. So we're going to do second math again. Go over to logic, do and then you're going to type in x is less than or equal to 3. Second math. I don't know why it's programmed to do this, but that's how you have to input the compound inequalities. You say -2 is less than x, and x is less than or equal to 3 in parentheses. Make sure you have the divided by there. Go to line 3, parentheses, 3x plus 1, close parentheses, divided by, parentheses, x, second math, greater than 3, close it up. Table of values, my friend, here's what the graph looks like. If you're curious, if you press graph, you're going to see parts of all these functions. So this x squared plus 2 over here, just until you get to -2. Then you got this x plus 5 here between -2 and 3. And 3x plus 1, when x is greater than 3, well, you can't see that because if I plug in 4 times 3 plus 1, that's 13. That's up here above there. If I zoomed out, I'd be able to see that line. But anyway, I don't care about the graph right now. I care about the table. You're going to get a table of values by going to second graph. The numbers that you see are your actual values. Anything that it says error, well, it's not going to work. Think about this. For that first function, I can only plug in numbers that are less than or equal to -2. So I can plug in -2, -3, -4. These are my outputs. What did I get when I plugged in -5? I got 27. What did I get when I plugged in -2? I got 6. What did I get when I plugged in 0? It didn't work for the first one, it worked for the middle one, 5. What did I get when I plugged in 3? 8. When I plugged in 4, I got 13. When I plugged in 7, I got 22. So it's a lot of work to plug it in, but you can get all your answers pretty quickly, okay? Pause the video. Actually, look back on the video if you need some pointers on how to type that in. And then, either by hand or using the y equals, see if you can try answering the questions down below, A, B, and C. Did you really pause it, or are you just copying down what I have on here? Come on, try the problem first, then pause the video, then try the problem, then check my answers. This is so you can learn it, not so you can copy me. I don't care what your notes look like. All right. Hopefully you had a chance to reconsider that decision and you tried the problem. Now we have three values here, g of -1, g of 5, and g of -3. Look at the inequality. -1 is not less than -1, but it is between -1 and 5. And because of that equal sign right there, -1 will fit into that middle inequality. So we're going to plug in -1 here. -3, -1 squared. Got some focus issues. Let's see if we can fix that. All right, so -3, -1 squared, x replaced with -1. That will be, you got to be very careful on this one. Those parentheses are important. First of all, these don't multiply together first. You square the -1. So -1 squared is 1. So -3 times 1 is -3. Y'all, don't be a hero and try to do this in your head. You get -3 when you type it in like that. G of 5. 5 is not less than 5. 5 is greater than or equal to 5. So 5 fits here. Uh-oh, there's nowhere to plug in that number. But your output is 7. All right, so it's not 7x, it's not 7 plus x, it's just 7. So g of 1,000 would be 7. G of 1,000,000 would be 7. G of 6 is 7. It's a flat line. -3, that's less than -1. So -3 minus 4 is -7. So how does this work? Well, g of -1 is -3. This 4 is going to multiply with the g of 5. We got 7 for g of 5. You understand? This is 4 times that number that we got for g of 5, which is 7. And then we have minus, what is g of -3? 7. Yes, that's a double negative. So minus -7. -3 plus 4 times 7 minus -7. -3. Notice I'm using the negative symbol, not the minus. Plus 4 parentheses 7. Minus, this is where the minus sign goes in. And then parentheses, you do the negative symbol. You get 32. That's 28. -3 plus 28 is 25. That's plus 7. That's 32. Maybe you did it in the calculator. Maybe you did it in the y equals. Here's how you do it in the y equals. Parentheses, x minus 4, close parentheses, divided by, parentheses, x. You remember how to get the inequality? Second math. Less than -1, close parentheses. -3, x squared. What did I forget to do? Parentheses, -3, x squared, close parentheses, divided by, parentheses, -1. Second math. Less than or equal to x. Remember here we need an and. So second math over to logic. And x. Second math. Less than 5. Can you tell I like using this? Down here, that 7 still needs to go in parentheses. Divided by x. Second math. Greater than or equal to 5. Close parentheses. There it is. Hit the graph button. You can see what that looks like. Here's your x minus 4. Oops, it cuts off at -1. There's your quadratic. Notice it's negative, so it's opening down. It only goes between -1 and 5. And there's your flat line of 7. That'll keep going on to the right forever. Hit second graph. to get your table of values. Verify what you got. So -1, we got -3. 5, we got 7. -3, we got -7. Now your table is not going to get you this, so you have to still evaluate -3 plus 4 times 7 minus -7. But you can get those answers from your table. That's how you do piecewise functions, by hand and in the calculator. You can decide how you want to do it. Hope you enjoyed. Now you know how to do your assignment. Go forth and get an A.